Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Nyong'o coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Tonight, I think of my home. Sadly, I keep struggling to have you people share my videos. I comfortably get 1,000 views, but for the work I do, 1,000 views is peanuts. I should be getting 100,000 views. I should have 100,000 subscribers. I can never do that if I can't depend on you. My stories are good. Spread it. Before I get started today, and I have a real good potpourri for you, a combination of different positive things about Nigeria. But before getting into it, let me give you a little feedback that I got from my last episode. I'm doing that because the last episode was a very explosive critique that touched on very sensitive things. I want to take this opportunity and say that my last episode was talking about Tinubu's brainwashed Yorubas, not Yoruba people. And I felt so relieved to get 2 very good comments. I got so many comments, but these 2 touched my heart. I'm not giving you the whole stuff, just the key points from them. They are from Yoruba people. 1 woman, 1 man. The man is from Ohio, a very highly educated Yoruba man, and the woman is from UK. She said, yes, bro, it is the Yorubas who are with Tinubu. Most Yorubas are not with him. We are highly educated, as you know. It is Tinubu and his cohorts who do all this nonsense, and their incompetence is an embarrassment to Yorubas. The Yorubas that I know are against his divide and conquer methods. She used a proverb here, but I think that proverb is basically saying one person does something bad and it touches the whole tribe. But mind you, Tinubu is not Yoruba. He's from Guinea. Look at his face and teeth, yellow teeth and black skin like the herders. We the Yorubas don't know his compound anywhere in Yoruba land. Speak later, bro. God bless you. Then the other one from a professor in Ohio says, Fred, I want to commend you for delivering one of the most bold, incisive, and unapologetically honest critique of the JAM scandal and its broader socio-political implications. Your video did not just expose a troubling pattern of academic fraud. It confronted head-on the dangerous consequences of politicized favoritism and ethnic manipulation for meritocracy and national development in Nigeria. Folks, these 2 comments coming from Yorubas lifted me. And when I read them, I said to myself, I owed it to my audience to come back and clarify that it's not about Yorubas. It's about Tinubu and his divide and conquer segment of the Yoruba population, which is a very minority group among the Yorubas. It's not the mainstream. With that said, let's get into the main video. With all the negative things going on in Nigeria, what do you expect? Tinubu is at the helm of power. But with all that stuff going on, it lifts my heart to see that there are a lot of positive things about Nigeria. And after the last episode where people were coming after my head, what's better than to be positive about Nigeria? And how do you start something positive about Nigeria without starting it out with the demographic group I believe is going to be the one that rescues Nigeria from the jaws of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nyesom Wike, the GenZs. Even when they go to church, they're telling the rogue pastors that this is how we want to do it. Watch.
I can never turn back. It's already too late. It won't make sense. Where am I going to? It's already too late. I've already come too far. It's already too late. We won the war. We will spend the billions. We'll spend the billions. We will spend for Jesus. We'll spend for Jesus. We will shift the culture. We will heal the sick. We will heal the sick. We will raise the dead. We will raise
But here is what they're dealing with, though. Never mind, this is just a few seconds. Here is what the Gen Z is trying to replace. Look at this. President of Cameroon. There's no way he's not 100 years, but officially he may list 80. How can these kind of people lead Africa? Here comes the president of Nigeria. He says he's 72. Tell me this man is not 100 years old. But regardless, how can this man lead Nigeria out of the nonsense we're facing today? But that's what Gen Zs are against. But it's okay. Now here the opportunities that we could have if we pick the right people. It's all positive from here, guys.
Africa after decolonization was more or less the forgotten continent. Western countries did not want to engage it for whatever reason. China went in, China treated every African country as brother and sister, and China really invested hugely in Africa. Now, many other countries are talking about engaging with Africa, including the United States, many European countries, India, for example. The more the better, because Africa should not be a monopoly for any other country, not for China, not for anyone else. Africa is for the African people.
Africa is for the African people. We know that. We've done it before. Let me show you some pioneers that came out of Africa. Some from old, some currently doing big things around the world. But why can't we harness the pride of the old with the activities of young Africans today and the things they are doing in Europe, in America, in Canada, and all around the world? Listen to these.
The world's highest paid robotics engineer is a Nigerian man. Just imagine his government, all that oil money that his government has, all that bauxite money, that gold money, all that money that Nigeria has. Imagine if Nigeria got this guy, bought him a plane ticket, brought his ass to Nigeria, and told him, hire a team. Whatever the fuck it is, we'll pay you. Where do you think that?
He meant to ask, where do you think Nigeria will be if they hired Silas Adekunle? Nigeria will be a leader in that area. But more importantly, Nigeria will create so many employment opportunities. But do you know why they won't? Tinubu doesn't hire people like Silas Adekunle. Tinubu hires people he can control. Tell them how much of the budget he wants to siphon towards his own account. And what they do with the rest of the money, he doesn't care. He doesn't need people who come in and control their budget and not have him interfere. But it doesn't matter. We're getting there. The Gen Zs will take us there. The opportunities, they don't accord Nigerians in Nigeria. Nigerians are taking their talents and going outside and doing big things.
When he was 7 years old, Bam Adebayo was abandoned by his father and could only live with his mother in a trailer that was falling apart in the woods. His mother cut pork in a butcher shop and stood for more than 10 hours a day, just to save enough money for his sneakers and tuition. No one was optimistic about him, but he gritted his teeth and persisted. After graduating from high school, he entered the University of Kentucky. A year later, he entered the NBA and signed a rookie contract of $14.02 million US. In the third year, he became an all-star. And later, he received a maximum salary of $163 million US for 5 years. He did not forget his mother's efforts. The first thing he did when he got the money was to buy her an apartment as a birthday gift. He also hung the photo of the trailer at the door, printed it on his sneakers, and set it as the wallpaper on his mobile phone, just to remind himself of the difficulties in the past. He said, "I will always remember that it was my mother who sent me to the NBA, and the man who abandoned them never called him once."
If he stayed in Nigeria, copying Tinubu's crooked ways, only God knows where he would have ended up. But look where he took himself, his mom, and his siblings, and the pride he brings to Nigeria by being in an environment where things work. Yep, Nigerians are survivors. They don't embezzle money to succeed outside Nigeria. They cinch it up, tie their bootstraps, and get to work. And that's one of the results. I got more comments, but I even want to show you more things that non-Nigerians are saying about Nigerians.
This is Oshodi Market in the village.
Can you say some Nigerian slangs?
Okay, come here, my boy.
Me Oshodi Limotiwa. Oshodi okay.
Oshodi okay.
Oshodi Limotiwa. Are you Yoruba?
I'm not Yoruba, I'm Igbo. I'm Igbo.
Kekime.
Mafuma.
Dalu.
Okay.
I'm from Oshodi.
You're from Oshodi?
This guy is from Bushiolosha.
He's from Bushiolosha. How do you know all these names?
Me, I was born there. What do you mean, how do you know?
You were born in Oshodi?
Abio.
Abio? Okay, what's in the apple now?
Kosingoko.
Have you gone to Oshodi before?
No, we haven't been to Oshodi, but we have a Oshodi branch here, Oshodi Market. Everything cheap, £1 a bowl in the whole village.
So this is £1?
Yeah, everything is £1. You see the fruit and fresh fruit and vegetable for £1.
Okay.
We do the best offers in the market for the whole village market. We do £1 a bowl, fruit and vegetable.
Hey, nobody talks about how hard it is to continue to chase your dreams and your passions while still needing to work a 9 to 5 like say tomorrow no they pay your bills. Success no be for the weak. Oh, let me tell you something, my people. Success is for people where they craze. 9 to 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 9. Jesus, I don't tire. Because you can sit down and chop better fufu and they go sit step down. Ogumagala self go rest.
Oops, I forgot the Igbo angle. Let me bring in a little Igbo angle. How can you talk about Nigeria without bringing in the Igbo spirit, whether it's within or outside? We'll start out with old school entrepreneurship and making money in Nigeria, where it all started.
Before Ojukwu became a war general, his father was already a millionaire. But how did he do it? Ojukwu's father, Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu, was one of Nigeria's first millionaires and possibly the richest black man in Africa at the time. He didn't just stumble into wealth, he built it strategically. He started as a low-level trader selling dried fish, but his real breakthrough came when he invested in transport. During World War II, he supplied trucks to the British Army and dominated logistics across West Africa. He later expanded into real estate, banking, and was the first president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. While many know his son as the leader of Biafra, the father laid down a business legacy that shaped Nigeria's economy before and after independence.
Now, the reason I brought that up is that this Igbo spirit that can really do so much for Nigeria, but the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's and his cohorts, both in his enclave in the West and his Fulanese who fed him the Igbo hate, while they're rejecting Igbos in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, people are beckoning and taking pride in their Igbo-ness. And I'm not talking Igbos who left Nigeria. I mean people who live there that are saying, we are Igbos.
If you're a person that does not like the Igbo culture, you may want to scroll past this post because this is going to have Igbo Amaka written all over it. So many of you have seen me in videos and you've thought to yourself, she looks just like an Igbo woman. And guess what? You're absolutely right. But let me tell you the little secret behind it. See, it all started with the transatlantic slave trade. During the transatlantic slave trade, many of Igbos were taken to the island of Jamaica. And though they were not home, they took everything they had with them, which includes their proverbs, the language, their culture, and most of all, their entrepreneurial spirit. So let me tell you some of the similarities between the Igbos of Nigeria and the Igbo descendants of the Caribbean. For example, our language. In our native tongue in Jamaica, which is called Patois, we have a very, very popular word that we use, and we pronounce it unu. This is the Igbo word una. It means you people, or all of you, or you all. We use that every single day in Jamaica. In Jamaica, we have some famous Igbo proverbs that we use every single day, but the truth is, most modern day Jamaicans are not aware of where their language and a lot of the things that they're saying is coming from. The truth is, it came from the Igbos of Nigeria. One of the popular proverbs that we use all the time is, you will see a wata ga pumpkin belly. This is a popular phrase that we say in Jamaica, and in Igbo language, it sounds like this.
Amaka Milisi Weba Obi Obogru.
Yes, and that's my husband, by the way. I did ask him to make me a voice note. I'm not that advanced in Igbo language yet. But yes, basically the meaning is you will see how does the water get to the belly of a fruit or a vegetable? How does the water get to the belly, right? Right. That is something we say every single day in Jamaica. The Igbos are the largest entrepreneurial group in Nigeria. And guess what? They have passed down that entrepreneurial spirit to us, their descendants in the Caribbean. If you would like to learn more about the similarities between the Igbo descendants of the Caribbean and the Igbos of Nigeria, let me know down in the comment section. And if you're an LDR couple and you're not yet following us, what are you waiting for? Make sure you engage from the bottom up, and I'll see you in the next video.
Cool. I'm a Jamaican, right? And whenever I'm with my friends who are predominantly African, Nigerian to be exact, and Nigerians in my comments, they always say that I look Igbo. And not only that, I did like a DNA ancestry test like a while back, and it also said I was from the Igbo tribe. So I'm just generally intrigued on what makes me look Igbo, if that makes sense. That I genuinely want to know.
Does anybody know what makes him look Igbo? I don't. But I'm happy he takes pride in being Igbo. People are wanting to be Nigerian, and in Nigeria, our leaders don't know how to market the greatness of our country.
Nigerians were the first Africans who taught me to believe in myself. Like every other African that I met always had like a certain level of like, how you doing? I was like, I'm okay, I'm fine. Like, we even say in South Africa, you'd be like, nyang, which means like I'm almost like I'm begging. I'm begging my way through. I try. And Nigerians, I remember like literally were the first ones who were like, you're not trying, you're doing. You're doing it. What do you mean you're trying? Are you not winning? And I was like, they're like, no, you're winning. Don't say you're trying when you're doing it.
People in Africa are definitely friendly.
Even in Nigeria, where they say it's not safe.
Nigeria is very, I don't know why
the airport has a sign that says, go at your own risk.
People have a misconception.
They say that that's where the biggest scammers are.
Nah.
And that's what you stand with.
Nah. People are definitely smart.
Yes.
In Nigeria.
Nigerians have more PhDs than any other people in America.
But you have to realize the population of Nigeria. People don't realize Nigeria is as big as the United States. There's over 200 million Nigerians in Nigeria. And the United States is only 300 million. Wow. So the population, that's why there's so many Nigerians. Africa, like if you literally Google it right now, you'll be like, wow. But there's not like, in America, people are like, why is there so much Nigerians? Just because their population is so big. That's why they have so many artists. They have Dangote is a billionaire. He came from Nigeria.
And there is this saying that Nigerians and Indians were both colonized by the British. But the Indians rejected the British culture. They rejected the British religion. They rejected the British food. They rejected the British way of doing things and hold on to the British technology. And then we have the Nigerians, that is us Africans, accepted the British culture, the British dress code, the British food, the British every religion, and rejected the British technology. Now that is why the Indians are the most advanced. They don't need to speak English to make a cell phone. But me and you are colonized to believe that the more you speak a better English, you can clean it. You are intelligent. But a perfect English is not a mark of intelligence. A mark of linguistic ability. You are able to speak. I speak 14 languages. I speak Swahili. I speak Spedi. I speak Xhosa, your language. I speak 14 languages. You understand? It doesn't necessarily make me intelligent. It makes me a linguistic. But we were colonized to believe that because you speak a perfect English, therefore you are intelligent. But how many perfect English speakers among us invented anything?
Are we learning? Nigeria, let's put our priorities straight. But before I get into more serious stuff, let me also bring some humor that has to do with Nigeria, but from the standpoint of non-Nigerians who love Nigerians and enjoy the humor that being associated with Nigeria brings to them. Here are some.
I'm married to a Nigerian woman. When I say something stupid, of course she says, which kind of nonsense talk be that? You know, get sense?
Before you get sense.
I'm married to a Nigerian woman. When the children misbehave, of course she says, see your ugly head like your papa's head. I'm married to a Nigerian woman. When I ask her where I should put something, of course she says, put on my head. I'm married to a Nigerian woman. When our kids are driving her crazy, of course she says, Chideke nawao. I'm married to a Nigerian woman. When I say something she doesn't like, of course she gives me a hiss. I'm married to a Nigerian woman. Whenever I try to show her small affection, of course she always says, come off here, Joe, yeah, husband. I'm married to a Nigerian woman. When I ask her about something serious, of course she says, life is not that deep.
My mom is Nigerian. If anybody asks me what I want to be when I grow up, of course I only have 3 options. Number 1, a doctor. Number 2, a lawyer. And number 3 is an engineer. Those are my only options. My mom is Nigerian. If I do anything wrong or say anything wrong, all I hear is olodo, olodo, olodo. By the way, Mom, what is olodo?
Olodo.
Olodo, I don't know. My mom is Nigerian. The only food we're allowed to eat is, of course, we have to have jollof rice for breakfast, curry and soup for lunch, and sometimes rice and stew for dinner all the time. My mom is Nigerian. When she's talking to me and I talk back at her, of course.
Of course what? Of course what?
Of course nothing.
Nigerians speak so poetic when they're upset. Instead of saying, I'm mad, they'll say, my enemies have succeeded. Whenever my dad decided he's not gonna whoop us, he'd say, today is your Christmas, but next time will be your Halloween. Instead of saying he's full, my Nigerian friend says his waistband is suffering.
We are too poetic
Bro,
with it.
too poetic, but it's too funny. I asked my Nigerian friend if someone was trustworthy, and he said, for every 12, there's a Judas.
Oh,
wow.
poetry.
Bro.
Come on, I don't know how we think of these things.
Instead of saying someone is stupid, my Nigerian friend said, wisdom is chasing her, but she's faster.
Nigerians, opposites.
No.
The opposite.
I love us.
Yeah.
What's there not to love? Apart from like the corruption and bribery and all, that
Yeah.
kind of arrogance.
Yeah.
But if I go somewhere and there's no Nigerians, I'm like, I have to go. There's no money to be made. I'm just like it's always, I'm like, I visit schools. I'm like, do you guys have any Nigerian kids? No Nigerian kids? No, this place is not good enough. Like, but that is just so baked into me. But I'm like a Nigerian from the diaspora.
Right.
So maybe I'm kind of overcompensating. The thing, one of the episodes of your podcast, you actually have a mother
Yes.
who makes a Nigerian soup that I don't want to spoil it, but she takes it to New York from London, which you probably shouldn't do, given the ingredients in a typical Nigerian soup.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it has that level of specificity about like the soup people eat, the stories we tell each other.
Yes. Now let's end it on a positive note. First of all, Professor Lumumba tries to awaken Nigerians to the responsibility of stopping to be fools to the colonials and focus on using our resources to make Nigeria a better place. Then I'll conclude with an immigrant African. I think he's Nigerian. I'm assuming he's Nigerian. Talking about the relationship of immigrants, but in this case, Nigerians, I hope, the relationship we should have with African Americans and the appreciation we should have for the opportunities we were able to get in America, because African Americans preceded us and set the pace and cleared the obstacles and created the environment for the opportunities we have come to enjoy in America. I want you to listen to both of them, then I'll conclude.
Look at little Qatar. Little Qatar. Qatar is smaller than the state of Bauchi. Look at the stadium that they have built in 8 years with one resource, natural gas. Compare that, permit me to speak my mind. Compare that with Nigeria. The 5th largest producer of oil on earth. And yet they are accused of fuel in the capital. How can we excuse that? How can we possibly excuse that? With gas from the Delta, we are flaring the gas. When I travel across the world, there are Nigerian scientists in all over the world doing amazing things. But when they come here, you pay them $100 per month. No conspiracy. It is us. And until the day we are able to say that there is something wrong with the things we are doing, we are always going to blame other people.
Shout out all the African Americans out there, man. This is coming from a black immigrant. We appreciate you setting the foundation and providing great examples on how to navigate being black in America, man. It means a lot to me and us that you would extend your culture towards us and just create an environment that's comfortable enough for us to assimilate into. I personally know that I wouldn't be who I am right now today without the presence of African Americans in my life. I'll tell you that. And I know there's ignorant people on both sides of the coins, but we're not talking to them right now, man. We're talking to black people out there who understand that a united black front, oof, nobody want to see that.
What a way to end it. We know that a united black front, nobody wants to see that. A united black front is starting to become the tune that black people all over the world are singing. Ironically, more of the black people outside Africa, outside Nigeria, are singing it. Because in Africa, myopically, everybody wants to be a leader in their little corners where they are earning 2 cents to survive and embezzling 1.9 cents and leaving the rest to the people. Instead of thinking globally how to build something bigger where the rich can really be beautifully rich, earning, not stealing, and the average can be comfortably average and not kissing the rich to survive. It brings me back to Nigeria, where a person like Nnamdi Azikiwe that talked about building a global African country was seen as short-sighted, especially by his Igbo people who said he did not act like Awolowo to consolidate things for the Igbos like Awolowo did for Yorubas. Neither one was wrong. Awolowo did right because he discovered at an early stage, like African Americans will say, that them Fulanese were no good. So he decided to build for his people. But Zeke was not wrong in saying, if we build all these for different peoples, but we can't unite them, we can't live in peace. Everything I preach on Bold Talk is how to build peace. And building peace starts with a united front. United, we could stand against any tyranny. Divided, we don't have a chance. Folks, it was a potpourri of different ideas. A little humor, some very serious stuff, but most of all, positive stuff about Nigeria coming from non-Nigerians. Can we learn from what they are dreaming they could be? What we are and we don't appreciate, and they are dreaming that they could be. Sadly, I keep struggling to have you people share my videos. I comfortably get 1,000 views, but for the work I do, 1,000 views is peanuts. I should be getting 100,000 views. I should have 100,000 subscribers. I can never do that if I can't depend on you to spread the news. My stories are good. It's your job to spread it. Ladies and gentlemen, Once again, this is Fred Nwamko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bull Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home, we had no sophistication. We had no timepiece, the cockcrow and the sun, all we had. Rise early at sunup, we'd go to the farms, drive the monkeys away from the maize farms and the birds.